Spiteri Water Pump will solve the problem of the high cost in producing electricity. By this innovative machine, the whole world will benefit. We know that hydroelectric power generation has the least impact on our environment. It is a cheap and an environmentally friendly method of producing electricity, and, if available, will almost certainly be widely accepted. Presently, only those areas with a waterfall can make use of hydroelectric power, and these account for only 20% of the world's electricity production. The Spiteri Water Pump is a solution to provide a waterfall to the other remaining 80% of the world's electricity production. How? By pumping water 24 hours a day, very economically. Let us now explain the process by which water is pumped. The pump motor utilizes the pressures resulting from a column of water, and it uses these pressures repeatedly. The pump motor is totally submerged in water and is made up of the air-filled barrel, a very light unit which is filled with air, having two cable hookups attached to the ends, the ballast mass unit, which will be used to turn over the whole structure, and the vessel frame, shown here in several colors, is pivoted on a bracket anchored to the base. The brown barrel slides on rods within the frame, while travel is restricted up to a rubber suction chamber. The ballast unit also travels on the same rods, but independently of the brown barrel, and travel is also restricted up to the rubber suction chamber. The vessel frame turns on a pivot and is anchored to the ground. As soon as the restrictive controls are released, the barrel and the ballast mass unit begin to move upward under the effect of the up-thrust forces acting upon the units. The vessel now, with a positive overall turning moment, rotates on the fulcrum, overcoming all the opposing up-thrust forces. This is stage 3 of the invention. Since the barrel is filled with air, it is replacing a volume of water, causing this barrel to float to the surface of the water. In the Spiteri pump, the barrel is allowed to move under control, then locked to the upper chamber at the end of its travel. Again, the restrictive controls are unlocked and the brown barrel starts moving up. The upthrust force is the energy generator of the entire system, and gravitational forces act to turn the vessel. A ballast weight is designed to travel to either side of the inside of the barrel. It consists of two airbags, red and green, connected by hollow rods. At the midpoint of the rods, a tank is attached to serve as a storage for the ballast fluid. The force to actuate this ballast unit comes from the force generated by the difference in hydrostatic forces. These hydrostatic forces are acting on the lower airbag and the upper airbag, the force on the lower airbag being greater. These two airbags travel with separate bellow systems, while the middle tank travels inside the barrel. At the end of every swing, a cable is engaged to the hookup of the barrel and energy is transferred by the cable pull to the pumping station. As the green side of the vessel completes the counter-clockwise rotation, the cable is hooked up at the green station. The cable is again disengaged, allowing the vessel to rotate on the pivot from the green station to the red station. The first stage of the invention is this transfer of the upthrust force on the barrel through the connecting cable to provide the necessary force to move the pumping piston up. By this pull of the cable, the pumping station piston picks up water from its surroundings and forces it through a vertical pipe. Here, the common force pump principle is used. The vertical pipe is 16 meters above the water surface. When the water reaches the reservoir, it is then diverted to act as a waterfall. This waterfall is then directed through a turbine, producing electricity. This is as economic as any other hydroelectric power station. Based on a force and energy analysis, it is found that the energy transferred from the barrel upthrust through the cable to pump water is very favorable and cost-effective. This operation will be repeated over and over again from this point forward. The Spiteri Water Pump uses a very innovative design to repeat the energy transfer cycle, where the upthrust is the driving force to lift the air-filled barrel and the ballast mass unit. The upthrust on the air-filled barrel is transferred into electricity, while the upthrust of the ballast mass unit is used to make the machine top-heavy. During these cycles, all movements are controlled by either water pressures or valves. To open these valves, a minimum amount of electricity is consumed. Its consumption is taken from the overall production.